Mila, Mila, are you there? I think
Hello,
you
Doug. I'm here.
Yeah, if you could
might.
make me a co-host, I'd appreciate it. Hello, everyone. This is Christopher Herring in the great state of Texas with Rachel Trevino uh, from Extreme. And today we are here. We're going to talk about things going on in the great state of Texas and also talk to some of our members and find out what's going on in their world. We know that every day we're learning new things and we're getting hopefully better. We're brighter and smarter about how we are to conduct ourselves within this global ecosystem. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from you what you've been working on. I know that Doug and I had a lengthy conversation the other day about the advances of Global Chamber and where we're going. And also, I think it's timely because we have so much going on in the world of AI that has just created innovation in rapid speed. I do want to start off today by, I guess we've had the last time that we met. Um, there was a gentleman who chaired the Global Chamber of San Antonio, Jorge Canavati, and then recently lost one of our board members, Jane Gonzalez, who was a faithful friend of Global Chamber. She provided us with the awareness of the Ed Lowe Foundation's second stage company philosophy, which is if cities would take a look at the true workhorses of their communities, they would find that it would be the small business owner. It'd be people like you. And through empowering small businesses at your local level and contracting with them, doing business with them, that those dollars will recycle in the community and it will help build a stronger city. So Jane did that for us here in Texas. She had the opportunity to sit on Governor Abbott's small business forum in which I asked her to represent the Global Chamber, and she spoke and she spoke and she really poured out talking about the investment necessary in second stage companies. Now, with that being said, the city of San Antonio heard her. And if you go to the city of San Antonio's website, you'll see a second stage program that was basically inspired by Jane. And so she did leave this earth a little bit too soon, but she's left a lasting impact, and our business community can be grateful that she contributed. She is she had a business. Her business was called MedWheels. MedWheels operated on the east side of San Antonio. It was on the storefront. It has Texas Hub. And for those who are in Texas, you know that there's currently a debate about the Texas Hub program. The comptroller of Texas removed minority and women businesses from the Texas Hub and switched it out for veteran-owned businesses. And so, with that being said, her business today would not stand the test of what the Texas Hub program has emerged to be. But we do know that if she was here, she would be fighting to get her woman-owned, minority-owned, Hispanic-owned business back into the forefront of the state of Texas. But that's Jane. That was Jane. And again, she was my great friend of more than about 20 years. And so we celebrated her homegoing, and we will miss her. All right. Now, with that being said, we do have the farewell services for Jorge Canavati coming up next month, May 1st, and we'll celebrate him as well at that time. So, with that being said, I see Miss Ortiz in the room. How are you today? Uh,
Hello, Christopher. Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing much better. I think that anytime that we have a chance to kind of reflect on who we are as people and what makes us tick and the people who are really are important to us. So I was down for about 2 weeks. I think with the news of Chairman Kanavati that happened, and then with the follow up of a person who I'll say she was like my best friend Jane. Um,
Mhm.
Ironically, I went through stage 4 cancer and came out
Oh,
being able to say that God gave me the greatest miracle ever. And when I got the news, I was talking to Jane on the phone and we celebrated together. Well, the next day,
mm,
she calls me back and tells me, Chris, you never will guess what happened. I said, what happened? She says, my doctor called and told me I was diagnosed with cancer. And he
wow.
became the person who we just became, we were prayer partners when she was helping me through. But since I think it was like 2021, 2020, 2021, she was fighting. And so
Okay.
so yeah, that's my sister, and I don't know why God unites people in ways that He does, but our history was we came up on the west side of San Antonio when when I got here under a military assignment. I started a company called Riverwalk Publishing. I published a magazine called Riverwalk Magazine, and then
Mm-hmm.
the West San Antonio Chamber asked me to be on their board. And I
Mm-hmm.
did. And so Jane was on the board and I was on the board. We didn't get along at all, at all. We were like oil and vinegar, like oil and water. And we fought pretty much over the table and quite disrespectful, I think both were. We both would say that and shaking our heads. Yes, we were. And so it just happened that years later, maybe 2, 3 years after all of the commotion, we we became business colleagues working toward, helping to push small minority and women-owned businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And then over that time, we just grew in great respect of each other. And then at some point, I think we just fell in love with each other for who we were as people and
Mm-hmm.
we did, from 2006, 2007 until 2026, um, we just did life together. So I called her the very last day that she was alive and we prayed
Mm.
together. And then the next morning, her brother called and said that she had gone home. Uh,
Yes.
so that was the journey.
I am so sorry, Chris. I'm with you. And then, while didn't have the pleasure to meet her, I am with you in 100% because I was also quite upset with Jorge's passing, quite taken by surprise. I am a faithful listener of Jazz de Mexico for the last few years, and I met him at the Hispanic Chamber, at a different chamber. So I'm with you 100%, and I'm with you in the awareness of, cancer. My own father passed away of terminal lung cancer in 2012, and I have a partner, a contractor partner in my business that's going through cancer treatment, and we're pushing forward, like optimistic, and thankfully, technology in medicine is where cancer is becoming a chronic. You should just keep checking, but it's no longer the what it was, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I'm with you, lifing, my friend, like lifing. Life happens. And before I move on, I don't want to, because you and I are the only people with the camera on. I don't know if Miss Rachel Trevino is in the call, and I'm like just like taking over.
No,
um,
you're great. We hope
okay.
that Rachel will join us, but you're great.
Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you, Christopher. And I was just talking to my partner about May the 1st, the mass for Jorge, making sure that I want to go for sure. And I was so I'm in the frequency. I try to join the League of Opportunity of League of Extraordinaire earlier today, and I did my effort, but I couldn't really, I wanted to be here in the Texas Metro, Texas meeting to see, but I noticed that there's the two of us and then Doug and I know other chamber people, but I see Rachel with her, it's logged in the call, just not with her camera on. I don't know what else you had in the agenda. Oh,
Well,
Rachel
so,
is her phone. Rachel, are you there?
Yeah. I just have a lot of background noise going on right now, so I wasn't going to be able
Uh,
to be still enough to turn the camera on, but it's nice to hear from you.
Likewise. Thank you for joining the call.
Mm-hmm.
so
Credits.
yeah, so I'll say that we're going to be pushing Texas in a different way. Um, I think as I told Doug, I said, it's interesting whenever you're in leadership and things happen around you. And what I love about Doug is that he'll call and he'll say, "Hey, how are you doing?" Right. So as a leader, while production is very important, he takes the time to care about, a person. And I did share some text messages with him because he was involved with moderating or being the mediator between business people who sometimes clashed, and we had found stories about that. But what I envision going forward is really establishing a different framework for this meetup, and the framework is going to be around where are we advancing by the power of the data that's made available. Because Texas has such a unique story about how we are the first, on the export list. We're the first state, in the nation that really has such a very powerful economic driven story. But we need to tell that story here, and we need to be able to make our members aware of the opportunities to grow their businesses. So I'm going to take more of an analytical look at the state of Texas, and I want to do some deeper dives. If you have suggestions as we move forward in terms of what areas would best help you, I'd be more than glad to peel that back and research it some more. Um,
Thank you.
because I think that's the value that we have to provide. We have a virtual platform, and the platform is awesome to have conversations like this. But it's going to be amazing when we're able to take our members and then give them the strategic advantage of being able to do more. Um,
Mhm.
I know Rachel has a great expertise with AI, and her business is front centered. And so to see her present and to hear her present, I remember we were at maybe it was like 2 years ago, Rachel. It was at the South by Southwest in Austin.
Yeah. Their
Yeah,
AI there.
yeah, and so she was a featured speaker, and so that was to me that was amazing because they have the largest platform uh, in Texas for that type of an event. And right now, what are we doing here in Texas? In San Antonio, we're celebrating Fiesta. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
started what it was 2 days ago.
This week, yeah, somewhere this week, but just started. Yeah.
Yeah, Um, so what I would propose is like maybe even the three of us, put our heads together to come up with an agenda, send invitations to the right people uh, to be able to share their Texas story and to be able to figure out how to do business with them, most importantly. Rachel, what would you like to add?
Well, so we're getting ready. I just asked Doug, 'cause my emails went in the wrong inbox, but um, AI and health kind of meeting that we're about to do, the presentation, that's almost all set, ready to go. So I would like to be able to present something to the chamber next week and that we could get that scheduled. I don't really know how setting up a new meeting, but I'd like to do something with a degree of regularity. Of course, my goal with it is making sure it's as robust as possible, so that we're not. Here's the challenge with AI: everyone's eating their words because 3 months later, 6 months later, stuff is evolving so quick that when you say one thing, it's actually it's so rapidly shifting
Yeah.
that it might not hold water in 3 months. So I'm just trying to make sure that the content that we're putting together, it is substantial. I mean, even for me, who's been in the digital space and been using technology and AI for the past 20 years, I am literally mind blown multiple times a day here. And, my company's called Extreme because we work with very extreme iterations of powerful people, be them in business or be them politically. So for me to have my jaw on the floor regularly is really wild and eye opening. But it's exciting because I think it's something that we can bring to the chamber and bring to the members and create a conversation here, especially with what's going on. We're
Good.
seeing Mexico change so much now because of what's happening overseas. I don't think people really anticipated what this was going to do to the U.S. economy. But if all of my past, what I've seen, if the data that what I've seen in the past, and when you extrapolate that into what's happening in the future, I think our economy is set to really to take the helm, and with Mexico turning into the manufacturing hub that it is, I think that's a great conversation for us to have from South Texas.
Okay. Well, let me I'm gonna share something I've been so I do believe that today I'm more able to do things differently and better than I have in the past. When I looked at AI, I have a different I guess mind when I think about how to advance my business, how to advance the causes of other people. I'm oftentimes the problem solver, in the room. So one of the gentlemen who has been on Global Chamber, Gerald Givens, um, he started a nonprofit called Raleigh Boots on the Ground. And Raleigh Boots on the Ground is a nonprofit helping to stop gun violence in North Carolina. And so I own a home in North Carolina. I have a passion about North Carolina, outside of Texas, and that's okay. But the work that he's doing, and so he created this nonprofit to stop this thing called gun violence. And so after he shared with me his mission, I went back to him and I developed a capability for him to know exactly where the gun violence was happening, by the time of day, by the groups, and so gave him his first heat map that puts his attention as a nonprofit into plain view. And so his trouble area, for instance, Northeast Raleigh, is tiered high risk, and it has the historical gun incidents all the way down to the zip code 27604. So as I was talking to him, I was sharing with him that the power of data and being able to put data into AI can provide you with some phenomenal results. And I think that as I'm thinking more about the future of nonprofits, and I just heard Bear County Judge Sakai at a luncheon, and he said that nonprofits need to learn how to work better together because the space is becoming more and more competitive for that resource of money. And if they can't figure it out, then it's going to limit the production of the nonprofits overall because they're asking a few people to make decisions about where they can actually put the resources of taxpayer dollars to, and it may not be the best outcome. So he encouraged the nonprofit leaders to work together. And we had a conversation about how do we do that as a global chamber? How do we work together with the county? Bear County was very generous to us during COVID and provided us with COVID relief when the chambers were basically grounded, during the time where we had shut down the businesses and so forth. And so we have a relationship with Bear County. They were actually very helpful to helping to keep us afloat. And so I look forward to even bringing Judge Sakai on to talk about his remarks about nonprofits and even for-profits working differently. Um, have any of you seen any things that you've done within your business and I guess I'm not going to say you, Rachel, because your business is AI, but Vanessa, have you had anything that you've used within the AI world that has improved your productivity, your effectiveness?
Yes, I mean, I'm still learning as an entrepreneur. Um, I'm in the process of learning and adopting for my business more intentionally. I mean, I use it for little tasks here and there, but for more, complex tasks and even projects, I'm taking some training from another organization for entrepreneurs. It's an accelerator program that I'm having kind of access to right now. But to answer your question, yes, I'm doing my best to and signing up for, when I see opportunities, learning opportunities. But yes, but I was trying to connect with what Rachel was talking about or what's happening, connecting to the geopolitical situation of the world,
Sure.
right? What's happening and how it's impacting communities, right? So here in San Antonio, yes, because I've been here long enough. Yes, I definitely see that there's an impact what's happening in Mexico. I mean, we're seeing a shift, what's happening in Hormuz. I have I serve nonprofits, Christopher, so it does connect with the local nonprofits. I also serve NGOs, international NGOs.
Okay.
So I have, clients in the Middle East. I was just on the phone in Bahrain yesterday and in South Africa on Zoom on one-on-ones and the Philippines and there's this call centers in the Philippines for kind of the global business and there's energy shortages and like 4-day weeks, right? I mean there's been disruption. So I mean I would love to learn more about what Rachel was talking about and how it's impacting us in regards to manufacturing in Mexico and the very close ties that we have here in San Antonio, being so close to Mexico and having our very own manufacturing community here, because I'm not that afloat of what's happening. But I can tell you on because half of my clients are nonprofits, including local nonprofits in town, Christopher. Yes, it's something I've in half of my clients, and I do serve. I've served on a board here and there, and I'm working with a local tech company. Coincidentally, I'm partnering. I'm like an adjudicator of this part of this panel, in which a San Antonio nonprofit, will receive a grant
Okay.
from My Tech. Is that the name of the company? It's a local. It's not local, but it's a small medium tech business that offers this grant in hardware and software to elevate their IT solution for this nonprofit in town. So I will be donating my services, which what I do, I'm in workforce development. I customize and facilitate workshops, and me and my team, and we deliver training in person and remotely. Locally, regionally, we travel when we can, when it's possible, and we do remote and hybrid work as well. So yes, it's very well, absolutely. even though I was
So,
not there in that event that you're talking about. It's very well
no.
known that in San Antonio we have an abundance of nonprofits, and so it's very competitive when it comes to funding. It's becoming way more complicated for nonprofits to get funding,
So,
like just 20 years ago. Yeah,
so what is it that you provide to as your services? If you could talk more about your services, so I
sure.
can get a better understanding of maybe like when you think about like what are the things in which you provide to the companies in which you work with or the nonprofits that
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying now to scale into this AI era?
Well, I'm using AI to continue to scale my business, really more from a business structure side. But as far as what is it that I offer talent development. The name of the business is Intercultural Talent, and it's to design a better virtual background where the logo is high up, and I'm not covering it. But basically, what I do is workshops, Christopher. I customize and deliver training workshops. So in the function of HR, I am a former HR professional that as a facilitator that worked in tech, that worked in Rackspace, and I worked in the nonprofit sector here in San Antonio before I opened my business, became an entrepreneur. So in intercultural talent would customize and facilitate workshops. So as a talent development company, we the services are consulting. I serve my clients in when it comes to their organizational development challenges, people challenges. We get into those conversations and what kind of training, those leaders that invest in their teams, and bring in training, customized training to their teams, and have those conversations. So it's consulting courses and coaching. So as part of the learning solutions that we provide to our clients, those nonprofits, those organizations, we also offer one-on-one coaching, and sometimes it's supplemental to the workshop and that everyone participates in, really depending on the tools. So one of the tools that we use, our cornerstone service, is called Clifton Strengths. So what you see in my virtual background are my top 5 strengths. So it's a quite popular talent development tool that comes from the Silicon Valley, is web-based. I learned that at Rackspace. Rackspace is a tech company, it's a strengths-based company. And basically people take this assessment, discover their top 5 strengths, and we customize strengths workshops for team buildings, managers, leadership. I do a lot of work in the nonprofit. I do a lot of work in leadership development programs.
Mhm.
I was, just last week, I was serving Public Allies. It's a national nonprofit with chapters in different cities across the nation. Public Allies here in San Antonio is part of AmeriCorps, hosted by Alamo Colleges. So it's basically a program where college students are placed in a nonprofit organization for an internship for a full year, and they are trained on the ropes of the nonprofit sector, on social justice and being community rooted. And they go around they're assigned to their own nonprofit where they're interning, right? Well, that's their job. But at the same time, they participate in retreats, and every Friday they have a powwow. So they hire me for their mid-year retreat for the allies, those participants, those, usually they're college students, but they may be 20s, 30s, some every once in a while, someone in their 40s.
Okay.
So I've been serving them for a 6 consecutive year. That's just one example, a customized strengths workshop for the retreat according to whatever the client wants to do. But that I'm the business of in the business of training and development.
Mhm.
And yes, that's half of my clientele happens to be nonprofits. Some of them are mostly post-pandemic because they just didn't go back to in person. They hire remotely, and they hire in other countries. And every once in a while, they may fly their teams for a yearly retreat, but they are at this point fully remote teams. So yes, thank you for allowing me to elaborate.
No, thank you. I actually sent you a private message.
Oh, sure.
And that person is a member of Global Chamber. He's a retired military in San
Okay.
Antonio, and he has a company that does something a little similar to you. I think that you two definitely need to talk because he's got contracting on the government side. And
Okay.
and I think that he does a spectrum analysis,
Okay.
which kind of builds on the Myers-Briggs.
Okay.
And
Right.
and so and he's typically, I've attended maybe 3 or 4 of his workshops. They're packed out. And he's been trying to figure out who he can kind of do business with in this space and really grow, even more business. But I think that once you talk to Qasim, you two will hit it off, and you might figure out how to work together to get even more clients and business. So
Thank you.
just tell him that, Chris sent you, and he'll know what to say. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to, I see Terry Levine's in the room. Um, thank you, Terry, for attending. I'm going to share with y'all real fast, just again. So I'm not a techie. All right. I am not a techie. Um, but I've had the chance again to see how to leverage some of AI to, benefit businesses. Um, you know, currently working on a couple of different dashboard projects. This is one where I'm basically zoning in on the utilization of individuals who have the cosmetology license in the state of Texas, in particular San Antonio, and then done something similar with electricians because we're trying to see where the pipeline of the electricians are coming from, and just by peeling back some basic data that is made available through government sources, you're able to kind of to put together a story and know how to help people in a different way. Let's see here. Oh, I had a chance to sit down with the mayor recently of Converse, Texas, and we were talking about uh, various needs based off of the zip codes in Converse, and identify that while Converse was a recipient of so many different people through the gentrification process of moving people out of the East Side to make room for this Project Marvel, that he gained all of these new people. And he didn't know until I pointed it out that he actually has a childcare problem, meaning he has more new families than he has childcare seats in a city. So that will allow them to be able to go out and to find the right type of childcare centers that could stand up and handle the population. I was able to bring it all the way down to where the childcare location should be placed based off of the populations in his city. And so there are practical uses to AI that we're going to be doing here in the Global Chamber. I've told Doug that we're going to see how to uh, mobilize on the data sets that are with the U.S. Department of Commerce, particularly around international trade and export and import, so we can get a better understanding of that, and hopefully fuel more of our companies to be able to scale by using technology for them. So that's kind of where we're going to be going. But we're going to have a definite different framework so we can kind of grow together. And I think again, as anyone who is a member of Global Chamber, we should also be our think tank, like a think tank for each other. Meaning I'm going to be thinking about how to help Marissa grow her business. And hopefully you'll do the same for me, and I'll do the same for Rachel. So
Mhm.
I think that's going to provide a lot more excitement to what we're going to be doing, because we're going to be investing in each other, and we're going to do it through the power of the data. So I don't have any background as being an electrician. I don't have any background being anything in the beauty industry, or even, well, I can't lie. I was in childcare for a decade. So I know
Mm.
childcare in and out. But one of my revelations, and as I ran for mayor, I wanted to end the generational poverty that I've seen in our city, and we are the sixth largest city in the United States of America, but we have a generational poverty issue. And
Yeah.
this again, one of those issues that my friend Jane used to always foot stomp. It's like, to get out of generational poverty, you have to have investments in the people, and you have to know that outside companies aren't going to provide the solution to a problem that which we've had for generations. So a part of that is knowing how to develop the workforce. And so I think Ms. Ortiz and I, we both share a background in workforce. I was the VP for workforce for Goodwill for a little bit. Outside of my military career, I came out and helped to develop a workforce capability, veterans outreach program for Goodwill. And now I'm looking to see how are we going to build and build and build yet again within Global Chamber, which and I will say this, I think that we have the greatest chamber that has the biggest opportunity to help people around the world. And it just requires focused leaders to figure out what lane they want to be in and how do they want to emerge to reach that global population that, as Ms. Ortiz says, she has clients in various parts of the world. And that's what doing global business is all about. So thank you for, providing as much information as you did today. And I think that this is going to allow us to be able to move forward and be accountable together. So,
Likewise.
Doug,
Can I ask you a quick question, Christopher?
sure
And
can.
I
Absolutely.
also thank you for elaborating as well. I did reach out. Let me tell you, thank you for sharing Kasim's phone number. As a geriatric millennial that I am, I went on LinkedIn and I found him, and Kasim Sattar is his name. Is that
Yeah.
him?
Hmm.
And we have indeed 19 um, contacts, but he hasn't. I don't know how I found him. Perhaps he was in a meeting, and I'm the type of that I'm jumping in meetings and connecting on LinkedIn, which by the way, Rachel just did, immediately reached out. So that because I saw a notification that Rachel reached out, I accepted. And then I saw like, let me type Kasim in San Antonio, right? And I found him. He hasn't accepted my
Okay.
request. So if you wouldn't mind typing an email introduction via email,
I will.
I think that would be, quite frankly, it's not easy for me to just like call this guy, hey, Kasim,
Yeah.
Christopher told me, like, like nowadays, because I already reached out on LinkedIn and he hasn't accepted me because I'm a stranger, you know. So if you want to do
Well,
an email introduction, that would be great. And then I'll be happy to tell him, hey, maybe you haven't logged into LinkedIn or something. But here
yeah.
in the chamber, I've been going to people's LinkedIns and a lot of people share their LinkedIn. I think that's the best way. That way, if people open new businesses or change employment, whatnot, your LinkedIn is permanent and phone numbers can change, right? Email addresses change. And I think in a majority of millennial workforce, um, nowadays people rather do a text, right? Or LinkedIn message, kind of like, that introduction or introduce via email. And instead of just calling out of the blue, it seems forgive my millennial self. I understand that Gen Xers and boomers keep the art of the good old phone call. But nowadays I rarely get a phone call. Let me tell you, like I'm surprised when I get a random phone call from someone. Nowadays is email, text, a message on social media, and we plan around it. But so if you wouldn't mind helping me with an introduction, it would
Yep.
be great to connect with Kasim.
No, that's good. And I just text him. I know that a part of, and if you recall, uh, some of the people who were working for our U.S. government were recalled from working from home back to the office. And so that was something that which he experienced over the past year so a lot of military folks after we retire, we go back to civilian positions and so forth. And he had the luxury of doing that. And he's on the clock right now, but we will
So
get to
am I.
and like
I'm on the clock right now.
uh,
I'm working, let me tell you. I'm working. It's Friday. This is my Friday lunch, my global chamber meeting. So it seems that we lost Rachel and I didn't really get to understand what she does, but I connected with
Yeah.
her on LinkedIn.
Okay, yeah, and so to my best of my ability, Rachel went through AI training and a certain school before AI became popular, and so she kind of hit AI at the grassroots level. She used to do some work with Tony Robbins, the motivator.
Yeah.
And so she learned a lot of sales and so forth directly from him. And as a Texas certified AI company, she's looking for pathways to move through, as well as um, she's health passionate, healthcare passionate. So she has
Hmm.
some unique technologies in which she's able to introduce the power of AI and the power of health. And so she's
Hmm.
putting together a forum of some type where she wants to bring all of this together and attract the right types of businesses and people to San Antonio. And so she's also been a leader in Global Chamber over the time that I've been able to have her be involved. She's helped to chair some of the member meetings in which I've had. And so that's why, when I mentioned that she spoke on behalf of Global Chamber at South by Southwest, it was
Okay.
because at that time she was my board chair. And so that's kind of our history. And
Okay.
we're looking, like I said, you know, I'm looking forward to growing this community again. Uh, and
Mhm.
I think that there was a period of time where you kind of just not sure exactly how to take a group and because international business is not my forte. I didn't go to school at any of the prestigious business schools, and I don't think many of us but I
I didn't either, my friend. I went to UTEP, UT El Paso. Let's
hey
go minors, and then have a master's that I paid
that's right.
at St. Mary's University here in town in international relations. So no, nothing fancy.
Oh,
Nothing fancy. I'm a Mexican immigrant. So, but it's great. No, thank you. I appreciate you sharing. And yes, I connected with Rachel on LinkedIn before she jumped off the call. And yeah, I mean, I'm still learning. It's my first quarter at the Global Chamber, and kind of still learning the different meetings, the different opportunities. Earlier today was a League of Extraordinaire or League of
right.
Opportunity. I
Have
don't
you
remember.
presented in
I
any of those
presented
forums?
last month. Yeah, I did. I'm still learning best practices because then later I joined the women's group, which was great.
Mhm.
And earlier this week I joined the authors series.
Okay.
A fantastic meeting, by the way, this week with I met Dana and Stephanie Austin because I went to an event in March in Dallas.
Hmm.
And so Dana she was a Global Chamber person and she had this great guest. So it was a fantastic meeting this week as well. But I connected in the women's meeting, I connected with other members. And then I see that they post on social media that they're going to present. It didn't occur to me because I quite frankly wasn't that aware of which meetings are open to the public versus which ones are not, are members only. And I'm also, it's taken me some time to learn a webinar, like a class versus a meeting of networking and connecting, right? If someone's going to be presenting or not. So I'm still versus the metro areas, the regions that I'm exploring. And so I'm still kind of like getting my feet wet on learning all things global chamber.
Okay. Have you had a chance to be introduced to the San Antonio Council for International Visitors?
No, I've never been introduced. I would
Yeah.
love to.
Okay.
Mhm,
So that organization,
mhm,
is another, so for me, when I think about global, international, Global Chamber
Yes.
is there. And then San Antonio Council for International Visitors is actually an
I've def
extension of a group called
okay.
um, Global Ties. That's the headquarters.
Oh, okay.
And so, and they have people who Global Ties serves as like the welcome mat for people who are coming from other countries to
Okay.
our local communities. And so I've been able to connect with business people who are traveling in to learn about San Antonio, our way of life, the Texas way of life. And I served on the board with Jorge on SACI for a number of years. And so
Okay.
that would be a great introduction for you, just so you can
Yes.
kind of,
Hmm.
share what you do because they're
Yes.
also dealing in the business of intercultural communications and so forth. And then World Affairs Council also
Council.
has another, international spin. So between the three organizations, that's kind of the nucleus of what's international. And then the city of San Antonio has an international development or international program. And we support that as well. And so the city has been members and sponsors of our chamber.
Hmm.
That's kind of the international lane that we operate out of. So hopefully that information is helpful. And I can connect you with Monica. Monica was our board chair for Global Chamber San Antonio, and
Hmm.
she's now the executive director for the San Antonio Council for International Visitors.
I would love, thank you so much. Yes, I would, I'm aware of this. I mean, like the international visitors, I've seen posts. So I know people have been involved, but I've never been like introduced to someone, like, never
Yeah.
had a reason, just like, and to be honest, Christopher, one of my challenges is that I am a mom and, evening events, cocktails, happy hours, dinners, all of that is very difficult for me. When
Sure.
it's school, school hours, I'm here, so lunches are a little easier for me.
Okay.
But when it comes to like socializing after school, after 3 p.m., that's very challenging for me as a single mom here in town. So I see on social media a lot of this stuff. An introduction really goes a long way. And I have shared connections, of course, like Jorge, for example. I saw, I mean, not long ago, pictures with some event at the organization. So if you will be so kind to introduce me like via email, that would be great. And I'll be more than happy to follow up on those introductions because yes, even with the city of San Antonio, the international, I don't know if it's called development or visitor, I don't know the name of the department, international affairs, I think is the name of the department. Actually, one of my very first meetings of the Global Chamber, Mrs. Sherry Dalastahi, and I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing her last name correctly, was a guest speaker. And I reached out to her on LinkedIn. We have a lot of shared connections as I even worked with her son at Rackspace years ago, many, many years ago. And I reached out to her on LinkedIn. That was like 2, 3 months ago, and she hasn't accepted me. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that I understand that I have, I serve the city of San Antonio. I serve healthy neighborhoods at Metro Health. It's one of my clients, and some of the city council have trained some city council members and their staff. But I understand that, in the second sector, people may not spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, maybe more in an office reality. I totally understand. But that just goes to tell you, to share with you that as a geriatric millennial on LinkedIn, and on Zoom a lot, when I reach out, it may really help, making an introduction, a warm introduction. And of course, I would love to get connected to these organizations and have a
Well,
reason to show up to an event instead of just like, oh, I saw it on LinkedIn and let me just show up and
no,
see
no,
who
no.
I say hi to,
Um,
because we're living different times, Christopher. It's not the same as before, in spaces where you have a lot more millennials, people are on their phones a lot more. And if you don't know someone, it's not that easy to just start connecting with others, right? So I appreciate absolutely and your help in getting connected.
No, it's wonderful. I appreciate the feedback because there are different ways in which we connect. And And then there's some ways in which, I'm older, and so we may have to just to have you to break away from technology and meet you at Leo's Pizza next to the city building and invite Sherry to come down. She's been a great friend, mentor, and we serve together actually on the same board that I was telling you about, SACEIV. And
Yeah, say, and I've heard of Say the nonprofit,
Mhm.
for sure. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
let me tell you that I do, and more related to my children, right? And play spaces where I can bring my children,
Sure.
as a parent, if anything is after 3. But yes, absolutely, I'm all for it, as well as, helping, for here in San Antonio, other members. Hopefully we can get a better turnout, higher turnout for these meetings. I'm not even aware of how many members we have, in Houston, San Antonio, Austin, that, would like to join the chamber meeting.
Well, we're gonna talk you and I offline after,
Sure.
and I'd love to factor you into the team to make a way forward. I think that would be productive. You have
Yeah,
energy, great thoughts, and so the first leadership should be at home, Global Chamber San Antonio, and
absolutely.
so we can do that together.
Yes.
I'm gonna close us out because it's
Yes,
the top of the hour.
absolutely.
Unless anyone in the room has anything that they want to share.
I don't know if Doug is hearing it, but I've seen Terry in a lot of meetings without verbally participating.
But he's Terry's been one of the greatest chamber members that I've ever seen. Always present, always positive with a great shout out from Utah, and also bringing a dimension of culture for us to be able to appreciate and know that um, we're all different, and that's what makes the global chamber so special. The fact that we're able to bring together the differences of people um, to really appreciate the fine opportunity we have in this life. So I want to thank y'all for attending. This is a recorded uh, 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 team meeting, and encourage you to check Global Chamber's calendar of events. It's always something that's going on. And like I said, next time that you see us, we're going to have a slightly different presentation format. And it's going to be exciting because as I'm personally going through and looking at um, the various things that leaders say, that business people say. I'm looking at the movement of contracts in which we need to be a part of. We just have to know how to be included in those contracts and know exactly what the strength is that we provide as small business owners or as business owners in general. Some of you have some massive companies, so I don't want to make the assumption that we all are small, but we do need to work together so that we can definitely do much more in the Texas economy. So again, I'm Christopher Herring, your executive director, and I thank you for your time today, and have a great high performing week. See you soon.
Thank you.
See you.
See you.
And I'll connect with you. Mhm.